Hi, this is Sonia with Artsy Solutions, and welcome to week 32 of using up scraps. And this week I just made some of these little paper beads from some scrap papers. So let me just show you what they look like. And I just added them to this little bead holder or whatever that I created. So I'll just take them out one by one. Some of them I added the Tim Holtz, these little clamps to them. Here, let me take this off and show you one example, if I can get it off. So I added these little clasps and some other little jewelry beads, and here's one of the ones that I created from some scrap paper. And then it has like a little tassel on the bottom. That's the first one. And here's the second one. And here's the bead that I created. If I can hold it right. And I just used various pieces of scrap paper and rolled them up, added some Glossy Accents, and added some glossy, well, I did add Glossy Accents, but I also added some enamel by Ranger. And I used old scrapbook paper on some. There's another one, and then some of these I added these little pins that clip open on and off. Let me just take this one out and show you what I'm talking about. These right here that you can connect to paper or whatever, these little pins. So here's another one. And here's the little bead I made. And then I think I got these little the bulb from a flea market or something. I'm not even really sure. I've had it for a while. And here's another little bead that I made. And then here's another one. I wasn't too happy with this one because when I let them dry, I laid them on a paint little tray, and after they dried, as they were drying, the Glossy Accents started to slope down, and it took on the shape of wherever this was laying at. And then so I tried to mask it by adding some of that enamel paint, but I'm not real fond of that. I might just glue like some type of bow or something on there, like a mini bow or something. And then last but not least, here's this one. So, and we all know you can use these with your journals, all kinds of stuff, journals, scrapbooks, anything, yeah. So let me just show you how I made it. Okay, so this is going to be a really easy project, and basically I've got some pin heads, and I guess that's what they're called, like jewelry findings and stuff. And then I don't know, these are the eye pins, or I call the other ones pin heads, head pins, and then eye pins, or whatever these are called, I'm not real sure. So basically all I'm going to do is just take some scrap paper, and depending on how big you want your, and thick you want your bead to be, will determine how big of a piece of paper you cut. And I'm literally just tearing this paper because I'm wanting it to have like a weird kind of edge for the bead. So that's why I'm tearing these edges, so that when it gets rolled up, it's going to have a weird finish to it. So all I'm doing is just I'm going to take, I'm just going to use an eye pin first, or whatever these things are called. And all I'm simply going to do is I'm going to take some glue. You can use art glitter glue, you can use some Glossy Accents, or something that's going to bond your pen on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add some glue all the way down. So that when it starts to roll, it's going to stay. So I put the pen, let's see, like I left about a ½ inch space between the ball of the pen and the paper, so that when you roll it, or you start your roll, you'll have a little bit of space in between, but it has room to grow as we're rolling it. So we're just gonna roll. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide this up just a hair because it's still kind of loose. And I'm just going to tuck this down. Let me zoom out just a little bit so you can get a better idea of what I'm doing. So I'm just going to slid this out just a little bit, you know, and then I'm just going to tuck it in, tuck some of these, the paper portion, the upper portion of the paper that I just rolled up. Then I'm going to slide this back down to where I can get my fingers in between, like right in here. And then I'm going to press this down. And I'm just going to take some Glossy Accent. And then I'm going to turn it around. And I'm going to add Glossy Accents to this right here, because this is basically sealing it in. So this, I slid the pen down some. Well, the head of the pen, I slid it down. And then making sure this is tucked down good with the Glossy Accent attached to it. And I'm not going to worry too much about this pen, this bottom part. I just want to make sure that the upper part of the pen is straight. And then I'm just going to hold it from this end, and then I'm just going to run some Glossy Accents around it. And this will just give it that shiny finish. I'm just going to take my finger and smear it around. And we're just going to let that dry. And I'm just setting it on the surface like this to dry, like a plastic plate. And then I'm going to do another one. Let's see. I'm going to use this paper this time. and like I said, it depends on how wide you want your beads and things. If you want thick ones, then you need longer paper to roll your beads up with. And then if you want thin ones, then you only need a short piece, but this is going to be fine for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some glue. And I'm just going to go ahead and add this on here. You want to make sure that you leave this open. Leave your eye open. So if you accidentally get some Glossy Accents inside of it, just wipe it off and stick a pin or something in there to clean it out. Take one of your free pins and just clean it out, you know. Alright, so we're going to slide that there. Let it sit there. Want to start making some more. just going to bring it all the way to the end, and it's just going to combine to with the bottom. It's just going to be one thing. It's not going to have a hanging. So we're just going to seal that together. And I'm just going to do this the same way I did the others. So I gave these like 3 hours to dry, but to my dismay, when I picked them up from off of their little areas that I had them in, some of them, the paper came up a little bit, peeled up, but I can fix that simply by adding an embellishment or painting it or something. I can fix it. But yeah, it did that on some of these. See how the Glossy Accents took on the form of the area that it leaned up against. But like I said, there's no mistakes in crafts. You can always fix them. Okay, so now that we've got those done, I let them dry for like about 3 hours, and this isn't going anywhere. It's in there. It's stuck. It's glued, which is what I was wanting. So what you can determine is how long do you want this end to be. So if you want it cut down a little bit, you can just take some cutters and then grab your, is it needle nose pliers? I think that's what it's called. And then you're going to just bring it around and form your little hole. I'm not a, what do you call it, jewelry maker, but here's what we have. We have a little hole here, and then we have one here from the eye pin. It was already an eye pin, and we created another eye. You just want to make sure that this eye you created, let's see if you can see that or not. Make sure that it goes all the way down, because you don't want it, when you put your jump rings or whatever you want to include on it, you want to make sure there's not a void or anything in there, like a little gap like this one has right here. So we're going to fix that. We're just going to make sure that it's all the way down. So that way nothing can get through. And we're going to do all of these like that. We're just going to cut where we need to cut. If you want it to be short, and then just get your pliers, and depending on how wide your loop is or how wide you want your loop, go further up for a wider loop and further down for a skinnier loop. So this one, I don't really need like a really big one, so I think this will be okay right here. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and do each one of these. Oops. Okay, so now that I've gotten all of these, they have the eyes on both ends. Now I can start putting these together with some other things. So I'm going to add some jump rings to them. It's both the tops and the bottom. And then this bag has just a combination of small and big jump rings. So I'll probably add some small ones to some of these. So just take your pliers and whatever these things are called in the jewelry world, the jewelry making world. And you're going to grab whatever size jump ring you're going to use. Find your little hole or your little opening and open it up. You can see that or not. Add on your dangle. And then we're just going to close it back up. See? Now we're closed back up. So I'm just going to add some on both ends. I want to have one here and on this end for all of these, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got little things that I can add to my little bead dangles and stuff, but like I said, I had messed it up when I took it off after it finished drying. It left these little areas here, so we're just going to fix that by taking some Enamel Accents by Ranger. So I'm just going to probably make like some little flowers or something to kind of fill in that little area. I'm just going to put some little beaded dots. Maybe when this blue dries, I'll put some white in the center. I'm just going to lay it down flat and let it dry up like so. I'll lay it like that. Then I'm just going to take another color. Is this pink or red? This is pink. I'm not going to use pink. I'm just going to use some black on some of the rest of these probably. Well, that came out pretty quickly. So I have a dot here, a small dot here, and a small dot there. I'm just going to let that dry. I'm going to do the same thing wherever there's distortion on this one. I may just make like a swirl going down. I'm gonna have to hang this up to dry. I should have already put something on it, but it's fine. I'm gonna take one of these Tim Holtz Ideology, or actually I think I'll use these loop pins. I'm just gonna open one up. And I'm just going to let this hang off of something. I'm going to put it through here. And I'm going to create something for this to sit on, like so. Let me show you. I've got this on top of here. Let me back up so you can see. Alright, I'm just gonna let that hang and dry. As a matter of fact, I can let a lot of these hang and dry. Let me kind of show you how they're dangling to dry. Okay, so I decided some of them I'm going to use loop pins with, and then others I'm going to use these hook clasps. So these three I'll use the hook clasps. Okay, so now they're basically complete. So like I said, some of them's got these little clasps. And then I added the beads to the bottom part of it. And then some have the little pins, or top pin, whatever these things are called. And then a little tassel and some beads, you know. So I hope you guys like this little bead making technique, and if you do, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos and my social media sites, and as always, thanks for watching.